What's going on, everyone? This is um, just a little short video I'm going to be making about my life story so far. I tried to record a video earlier, but I don't know what was going on. It was too long. It was too, you know, some of it was too difficult to talk about. So in this video, I'm going to be including as much as I can, but I'm not going to be including everything because if I did, it would be way too long and probably way too boring. But I'm just gonna, you know, share with you guys my life story so far. Again, I'm 24 years old. I was born in December 1999. Right now it's November, a month before my birthday. I'm a Capricorn, and yeah. So at the time my mom was pregnant, she was dealing with a lot of stuff from her childhood, a lot of depression, a lot of disappointment, a lot of repercussions of how people treated her. She was abused as a child, so there was a lot of stuff going on with her. So for that reason, when she was pregnant and she gave birth to me, um, she asked my great grandmother to raise me. And my great grandmother is from Alabama, but my mom is from Florida. So when I was a baby, I went to go live with my great grandmother in Alabama, along with my older brother and sister. I have an older brother by 6 years and an older sister by 5 years. And with us in Alabama, there were four of my cousins. So there were a total of 7 bad little kids running around with a woman in her mid-70s. And life was fun. It was simple. We lived in the country. For a while we didn't have a TV. And when we did get a TV, it was one of those like big box TVs. We had to buy a cable box and put aluminum foil on the cable box and but yeah, it was good. It was good. It was fun. It was simple. So, speaking of my siblings, my brother is older than me by 6 years. And because he's like a decent amount older than me, growing up, I looked up to him a lot. He was one of the male role models. I don't know how much of a role model somebody can be to you that's 6 years older and that's also a child, but I mean he was everything I wanted to be. Smart, funny, handsome. The ladies loved him. He had a quiet charisma about him. Um, Speaking of smart, he graduated high school 3 years early. Graduated when he was 15, and at his graduation week, or the week he was graduating, my grandma had a celebration for him, and that was the first time I met my mom. And I was completely blown away by her. There was a connection that I felt with her. And I mean, I guess I kind of knew, like the first time I saw her. She's the only person, she's one of the I mean, I have an aunt that kind of looks similar to me, but she's one of the only people in my life that I've met that looks like me. That's, black, light skin, has freckles, has, black hair. She had long black hair. And so I knew I had to be related to her somehow, but, my grandma told me, and, we spent a lot of time together that weekend. And I did not want her to leave. I wanted to go back with her then, if she was leaving. But yeah, so my brother graduated. A few months later, I went to go live with my mom, and it was just me. My brother, he was in Alabama, going to college, and my sister was still in Alabama as well. So it was just me. And life with my mom, who got married, she got married. Life with my mom was a lot different than it was with my grandma. My grandma was very strict. She was very religious as well. And my mom, she believed in God. We went to church and stuff like that, but she was a lot more laid back. There was a lot more freedom. It was a lot more isolating as well. I was lonely, just being there by myself. My mom had to work. My stepdad had to work a lot because they were ex-convicts. Yes, both my mother and my father have been to prison, served years in prison. That's, I guess it could be embarrassing, but, guys, please don't judge. If anybody is watching this, please don't judge. And as I move forward, I'm not trying to make my life look better or worse than anybody else's. This is just my life story. So yeah, my parents had to work a lot, so I spent a lot of time by myself, alone. It was okay though, because even though we were working class, I got I guess spoiled. I got my own TV and stuff to put in my room. When I was 8, didn't really have a bedtime, kind of got to do whatever. To be honest, I was chilling. I got an Xbox. Yeah, I was chilling. So, but life was like that for a while. It was simple. It was cool. And it was also nice to have parents, because my cousins, even though they lived with us, they had a relationship with their mom and dad, and I didn't have that. My brother didn't have that, and my sister didn't have that. So we felt a little different than them. But at this point, I had a mom and dad. That was my biggest desire as a small child. So it was nice to have that. Life was good until I got to be about 15. My dad, he was an entrepreneur. He owned a mechanic shop. He also sold tires. And, he started making more money. And he also started making poor decisions when it came to his marriage. He stepped out of his marriage. And my mom found out. One of the ladies my dad was cheating on her with, came to her job, jumping up and down, screaming, beating on the walls, kind of animalistic. I don't know why she decided to do something like that, but she came to her job, my mom's job that she had spent 6 or 7 years building a reputation, you know, as a hard worker, as dependable, as one of the few black people on her job. And you have this fool coming, acting like a fool. And my mom was devastated. That day, she snapped. Maybe she knew that my dad was cheating on her. Maybe she didn't. You know, women are very intuitive about stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe she knew. But the lady coming to her job was the straw that broke the camel's back. So my mom didn't come home for a week. She, you know, when she did come home, my mom wasn't somebody that drunk. She didn't, you know, go to book clubs and, you know, have a little glass of wine with the girls or anything like that. She was a pretty solitary person. All she did was work, you know, read her little vampire novels, you know, go to sleep, go to work, sleep, read her little books, and that was it. But when she came home from being away for a week, she had cases of, well, not cases, but empty bottles, empty glass bottles of beer, Miller Lite, all through her car. She opened the door and there were, I'm not exaggerating, probably 10, 12 bottles that fell out of her driver's side door. And I remember having like a eerie feeling, like a bad feeling, like I don't know how life is going to proceed from this point, but I do know that it's not going to be good. I knew that. How old was I? I think I was 15, 16. And come to find out, my mom had started drinking. She also started taking illegal substances. She had health problems, so she already was, you know, taking pills. And we didn't have health insurance, so she would buy pills to help her with her pain. And, you know, she was popping pills, drinking, doing drugs, other harder drugs. And, you know, our life just kind of spiraled. Just a little quick example of stuff that would happen during my time of my mom being like this. I might get a phone call on the bus ride home. Hey, Benicio, I ran out of gas. I'm sorry. I need you to walk and come push my car home. Well, how far away are you? I don't know, a mile. So I would have to get home, get off the bus, walk to where my mom was, push her car a mile to our house. And, you know, I'm also very protective. I was a mama's boy. You know, you can, I don't know, giggle about that or laugh about that or whatever, but I mean, it's true. That's who I was. I was a mama's boy. I love my mom. So I was very protective. So, you know, when she would go places, you know, to buy pills or to do whatever, I would want to be there with her so I could make sure she was safe. I remember one night that I don't know where we had went. it was somewhere, and I didn't feel safe in my but yeah, it was things got kind of weird. Like there was this weird people like came out and were like shaking her car, and it was just a bunch of weird stuff. But I don't know how I got off on that. But yeah, stuff progressed. My mom, she started spending less and less time at home. Um, her behavior became worse, and my dad also started spending less time at home. I guess he was having so much fun with the prostitutes he was hanging out with. Um, I don't know what type of mindset he had reverted into, but he became corrupted. He was not at home. He wasn't really doing nothing. So my mom and my dad weren't at home. And, you know, I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. So I called my great grandmother who raised me back in Alabama. And she said, she prayed for me, of course. That's what all grandmas do. They pray for you. I told her, I was like, Grandma, I don't know what to do. She said, well, pray. Do you want me to come get you? I'm like, I don't really know, because I do want to stay here with my mom to make sure she was okay. She's like, well, how you gonna do that and she never comes home? You have no idea where she is. I was like, I don't know. Well, 2 days later, my grandma, a 75, I think she was 70. No, she wasn't in her mid 70s. She was in her 80s by this point. But she had driven from a little country small town in Alabama all the way to Central Florida just to get me and make sure I was okay. And I was grateful, and she's like, I don't feel safe with you being here. I don't feel good. I don't feel comfortable with you being here. So she took me back to Alabama. I enrolled in school, and a few months later, my mom died. But the night before she died, she called me. She could barely talk. And it's weird because I had this weird, I don't think it was a dream. That's not the best way to describe it. I had sleep paralysis for the first time in my life. And I remember looking up and seeing like, maybe I'm not going to tell that story because it's gonna make me sound crazy. But yeah, I had already had like a weird, eerie feeling about, I guess, that night in general. And then I got the phone call from her. She was like, I just wanted to, God. Like she was gasping for air. Like she could barely breathe. That's how she sounded when she was calling me. She said, "Oh, Benicio, I just wanted to tell you that I love you. You're my baby. I love you. I'm sorry that stuff ended like this. I'm sorry. That stuff is is I'm like, Mom, it's okay. I love you. I'm gonna come back to Florida. I'm gonna come move. Everything is gonna be okay. And she was like, okay, I love you. And we hung up. We told each other we loved each other, and I went to school the next day, and I get pulled out of class by a family relative who is hysteric, crying, and she's like, "Your mother has died," and I don't think I really knew. I don't think I really grasped the weight of the situation, and I mean, it was so. It was just a crazy thing to be happening. I don't even know how to dis- to articulate what I was thinking in that situation, or the thought process I was in. But it didn't seem real. It did not seem real, and I didn't, because I wasn't because I didn't know how to look at the situation or feel about the situation. I didn't. I wasn't grieving at that time. I eventually did grieve, a little bit later, once I took time to sit and think about this situation. But, we went to her funeral, and I remember seeing her in the casket. And my mom she always had this vibrant energy about her. And she had this beautiful skin, and, she was very soft, when you came in to give her a hug, and seeing her in the casket and feeling how cold she was, and it just that that broke me at that point. That's when I really, I guess, realized what had happened, and that she wasn't coming back, and that you know it was what it was. So a few months later, at this time I was a junior in high school, just turned 17. Um, Fast forward a few months, I'm a senior in high school. That same year, I'm still 17, and my grandma has a stroke. She has a stroke. Um, and her personality completely changed. She became very um, disrespectful, I guess. I mean, she would curse you out. I told you guys, my grandma, she was very religious. She didn't curse. She didn't do anything. But all that changed when she had the stroke. I don't know if that part of her brain was cut off during the stroke. But she would curse you out. She would, uh, pinch you. I remember one time she busted my lip when I was trying to get her off the. Um, it's like a portable toilet that you put by the bed. So you pick them up out the bed and you transport it to the toilet. So one time I was trying to transport it to a toilet, and I don't know if she was having a bad night or whatever, but she bit my lip. She split my lip wide open, and but yeah, that's the type of person that she became, and that's very hard dealing with that um, for any adult. But you know, at that time I was 17. I guess maybe 17 isn't a child, but um, it's definitely not at the stage to take that kind of load on. But I had to. She was. Stuff was so bad that people in my family couldn't do it. She ran off a lot of her sitters. We would call them, people that would come in our house and take care of her. So that last year, my senior year of high school, I was her primary caregiver. She was also very paranoid, so she would want me to sleep in the same room with her. So we bought this little, it's not quite a mattress, but it's like something that you put on the ground that's kind of like a mattress. I don't remember what it's called, but I sleep in the same room with her. And if she ever caught me not in the same room, she would start, yelling until I came and, I guess, laid by the bed next to her to give her that comfort. But at that point, I was pretty. I don't. Maybe it's because my grandma had did so much for me growing up, or because she had saved me from that situation where both of my parents weren't there. I felt like a huge responsibility to care for her. So when it was time for me to graduate high school, everybody is asking me, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go to school? I'm like, I really haven't thought about that at all. People are like, oh, you need to go. You need to. I'm like, I don't really want to go. And it wouldn't stop. People kept, oh, you can't spend your, you can't, you have to do something. You have to make something of yourself. And to be honest, I did not pay them any mind. I think it was maybe a few months before I graduated. I went into my guidance counselor's office, and she asked me how many schools have I applied to, and I'm not one to lie. I mean, I'm like, zero. She says zero. We stayed in her office and we filled out some applications. We went on some school websites. We did the FAFSA. We did whatever we needed to do. And, I had gotten an email from a school that had accepted me. That's eventually no, I wasn't that school. So I went to my cousin's house, and I think she was getting her daughter ready for her prom. And I think I had filled out one or two applications. So I went to her house, and she was asking me the same thing on the same stuff about this going to school stuff. And, me, I'm trying to deflect, and she wouldn't stop talking about it. So, I eventually answered, and she had me fill out some more applications. She told me about this one school in particular that has a good reputation. And it's also like a pretty small school. And she thought it would be good for me. She didn't think I would really like going to a big school. So I went, filled out the application. And that's eventually the school that I went to. So I graduated, went to college. Graduated college, and that's pretty much where I'm at now. I am in dental school now, so I think I'm just getting tired of talking. I've been talking for 30 minutes? So but yeah, I did graduate college. My grandma passed away my senior year of college. She had some more strokes. She did pass away, but I promised her that I would graduate and that I would, live my life trying to make her proud. So that's where my goal is for the future, to live a life that she can be proud of and to honor her. I feel like I've been rambling, but again, this is my second YouTube video. It's I don't know. I guess I'll see how it turns out. Hope that you guys are having a great day. Hope you continue to have a great day. And yeah, that's my life story so far. I plan on getting my hair twisted next week because I don't really like my hair like this. I mean, it's cool, I guess, but yeah, yeah. I'll see you guys later.